Few crops capture the national palate quite like the Vidalia onion, and fewer still carry the kind of legacy found at Shuman Farms in Cobbtown, Georgia. As part of a special series highlighting the people and stories shaping Georgia agriculture, Kenny Burgamy spent the day with John Shuman and his son Luke, who graciously opened their doors and walked him through the ins and outs of their operation. From seed to shelf, it's a first-hand look at the passion, perseverance, and generational pride behind one of the most beloved products in the produce aisle.
John, good being with you today. Take me through the process, what the consumer may not know. These onions from the field to the supermarket or to restaurant. Take me through that process.
This onion crop here started last summer when we started buying our onion seed, and we'll buy the different varieties of onions that we're going to plant this year, and we'll sow our seed beds in September. And usually around mid-September we'll start sowing the seed beds with a tractor and a planter, and we're planting about 2.5 million plants per acre on the seed bed, and we'll grow those off until early to mid-November, and we'll start transplanting to the field our earliest varieties. We'll harvest them typically early to mid-April. We'll start harvesting, and what you see here in the field, and they're all harvested by hand. We use H2A labor crews that we license through USDA, and we'll bring them in our facility.
Take me through the weather span. I mean, you really have some challenges here in this part of the state.
You know, we have. It's been one of our toughest growing season we've had in a while. So we started with Hurricane Helene. We had just planted our seed beds, and praise the Lord that only the earliest varieties had even germinated, and they were only about that high. There was just a tint of green over the seed beds, and those got sandblasted. That 80 to 100 mile an hour winds that came through Tatnall and Toombs County picked up sand particles in the field and just sandblasted those tops. So we lost a lot of those early variety tops. I lost early variety onions, and then thankfully the main varieties in this season's crop had not even germinated, so those were fine. And then we moved through Christmas into January, and we have the snowstorm where we get, depending on where you are, anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of snow. The snow actually was an insulator into some degree, because everything above the snow line got tip burned, and everything below the snow line actually fared better. So we got through the snow okay. The Lord blessed us there. And then we had one afternoon, we had almost 9 inches of rain in one afternoon, and it was that was hard to stomach too.
Well, despite the weather conditions, you got a great product. I took a bite out of it just a few minutes ago. Where do your onions go? Consumers probably don't realize the impact of the Vidalia onion across the country.
Yeah, we're tremendously blessed in Southeast Georgia to have the Vidalia onion, particularly in the state of Georgia. It's Georgia's known for a lot of things. The Georgia Bulldogs and Coca-Cola, and just there's so many things that just resonate in the Masters tournament, and just Vidalia onions are one of them, and we're very blessed to have it here. And there's a consumer demand for this premium sweet onion around North America. So we do here at Shuman Farms, and in the Vidalia industry as well. We distribute all over the lower 48 and into Canada. So there's a wide distribution network. Retailers all over the country and in Canada really like this onion. They look forward to it each and every year. And it's really driven by the consumer demand and the appetite for this onion. They recognize the Vidalia onion as a premium sweet onion. Celebrity chef Bobby Flay once said that the Vidalia onion is not only the world's most famous onion, it's quite possibly the only famous onion. So I think that just speaks to the affinity of it.
You've got your son behind you. You followed your dad going into a third generation with your son Luke. Tell us about your operation and how important it is as the family is connected to this. That's a big deal in your world.
It is, and we as farmers, as we talked earlier, we're just eternal optimists and just see the good in just most everything, and even through this difficult growing season. But you just staying connected to the family and being able to work with your family each and every day. It's got its own set of challenges for sure, but it is a blessing at the end of the day, and I couldn't imagine spending my time any other way. And I grew up around farming. My dad was actually in the fertilizer business. He owned Shuman Fertilizer, feed and seed distributor, and sold farmers in 2 or 3 counties all their fertilizer and chemicals and seed, and they'd all come to him with soil samples and get his recommendation on how to plant that crop. And And then he also had Shuman Farms on the other side of the fence. And so we were just around it 24/7, 365. And I really saw how much he enjoyed it and how much he drew from that. And that kind of made an impact on me and really encouraged me to come back and to get into the business.
I know you're an optimist because you keep doing this year after year. What does it look like for the future? The economy's a bit up in the air right now. People are worried about some of the imports-export situation and tariffs. What does it look like for the onion industry?
You know, I think we're all paying attention to global economics and what's happening in the world economically, but you know, I try not to worry about too much of that. I try to stay focused on what we can control and what we can't, and just distinguish between those two. But I do think, you know, for the Vidalia onion, fortunately for us, a sweet onion is a preferred item in the produce department. It is a very versatile item in the produce department. You can use it in so many different dishes. You can cook with it, saute it, you can eat it fresh, you can eat it raw. And an onion is a center of the plate ingredient for most dishes. So the onion category at retail across the country tends to fare better when economic uncertainty comes into the picture. Some of your higher cost produce items like fresh cut or maybe berries or things like that, or the organic salads, they tend not to do as well. But you know, I know during the Great Recession back in 08 and 09, the Vidalia onion and the sweet onion category performed pretty well.
John, thank you so much.
Yep.
Appreciate you doing this with us today. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot about Vidalia onions. It's one of my favorites.
It is ours too. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.